have a bang. All them having cars now, whichever get up. Light up my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flex me a bag it up. Say, oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.
What's going on, people? Welcome into another episode of the Stay Weighed-In show, presented to you by iBoxingHub in association with our partnership with D-Rock Clothing. Today, we've got another special guest on board, Ashanti. Starting off with you, how are we, man?
Very well, very well. As always, all the best for speaking to both of you, so thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you for coming on. You're kind of semi-part of the furniture now anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say...
He's part of the furniture. Yeah, I was going to say part of the furniture.
We got to give him a different name. Special guest ain't cutting it. Like he's beyond that now.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I don't know what to call you now, Ray.
Recurring host. Who knows?
Ray, how are you anyway, man?
Listen, man, life is life, but we keep on going. So we're here, man. How about yourselves?
I'm happy, but I'm not happy, but because of what we were talking about offline when it comes to the NFL. But we are here to talk about, I want to say your guy, kinda. David Benavidez, is he your guy? Because you know,
wait. Who's whoa? I've just
okay. You vouch for him more than me.
He is the person your guy's running from. He ain't my guy. I just want justice for the division. David Morrell's more my guy than Benavidez, but you know, Canelo doesn't want either. He wants a big payday, so fair play to him. He's earned it.
He's earned it, and Benavidez would have had chances, but you know, someone just can't stay in line. But
no, he ran. He ran.
No, nobody's running. Canelo doesn't run, but
he
jogged for 12 rounds.
Had every excuse in the book not to face him, and fair play to him. He's done it successfully.
Just gonna put this out there. You know, when you miss a flight, you have to then rebook your destination. Sometimes it's not available, and you got to find a little detour around it. But you may get to that destination. That's
your shamelessness needs to be studied, because there is no way you should be this shameless. You're bordering Tyson Fury levels of shamelessness.
He's about to retire. Abbas is about to retire, like Tyson.
Abbas might actually, he might.
Listen. What have I said in the group chat? I'm 50% from retirement. The final 50% comes if I get any content with Canelo Alvarez. You will never see me on camera. So I'm 50% there. Technically, you're not wrong. I will retire if I ever speak to Canelo and do what I need to do. But yeah, let's talk about David Benavidez, David Morrell, 175. Ray, come to you first. In terms of this fight, is this the best both guys can really get at this present moment in time for him?
Yes, because your guy ducked.
It's not 175.
You set up. Well, no, exactly. I said what I said. Your guy started facing people like, what's that guy that he faced before? The Puerto Rican guy.
Jaime Munguia.
Fights against Munguia, fights against Berlanga.
Undefeated fighters.
What are we doing? What are we doing? Berlanga, Munguia.
Wasn't Munguia 160 and then came up?
Yeah.
No.
Imagine that. He tried to say that Benavidez didn't earn his title shot, but Munguia, who ducked people at 160 as well. Jaime, who I won't say he ducked, I'll say who Golden Boy were too scared to put him up against titleists at 160. Somehow he comes up to 168, and all of a sudden Canelo is able to face a Mexican again.
And do you know what though? It started
and then you have a David Morrell who was a interim champion for a long time, and once again Canelo didn't face him either. So guess what those two decided to do? They went to 175 and they said, we are not going to let that man stop our aspirations, and good on them. And that, my friend, is the real reason why the fights happen at 175 and not 168.
No, I'll tell you what's happened. David Morrell, fair enough. I've got nothing against him. Like, fine, you do your thing, no problem. Because David Benavidez, what have I always said? I said, this fight will happen. Canelo Alvarez.
He wants a year. Have you not seen what Turkey's been doing? Turkey's been making fights.
And now we're going to get a super fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez.
We don't want that super fight. Listen, I'm happy for Crawford. I want Crawford to get banked. You deserve it. What a career. Win, lose, or draw. You deserve the big payday and the big hurrah. We didn't want this fight as a general public. We wanted Benavidez versus Canelo.
I don't know.
Someone legitimate at super middleweight that he hasn't faced since. For me, his last legitimate fight at super middleweight was Caleb Plant. And since then...
So when he was doing what he needed to do, which was clean up the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fine then. So he did his job. But
and how many years ago was that?
Yeah, but we're on an appreciation back end of his career.
And how many years ago? This is my whole point about I've told you, I don't even mind that he's ducking Benavidez, because at this stage of his career, yes, guess what? Give me the big money paydays. I've accomplished what I need to accomplish. I'm getting older. My body's wearing out, etc., etc. Let me face... I don't want to say easier. Let me face
average opponents,
lower risk, high reward fights, and that's what he's done.
Can I ask Abbas a question? Last 4 fights, Jonathan Ryder,
celebration fight.
No, out of 10. Could you give me what you think those fights are? These 4 fights are out of 10. His last 4 fights, Jonathan Ryder.
In terms of what, like what we've written?
Come on,
what
level of opponent, notoriety, toughness of test, all of that.
This is what I'm saying. I'm going to put this. The Ryder fight was basically done as a celebration fight after he's cleaned up all the titles. So it was never going to be anything special. It was done in Mexico.
It wasn't. It was a homecoming. See, you're
that's what I mean. No, that's what I mean. It was a homecoming fight in Mexico in the stadium.
Who did he face before that?
That was when just before that he had cleaned up the titles, so that would have been the Caleb.
No.
Oh yes, the big money maker trilogy
they passed it Triple G out.
But you got to realize, even I knew what that was. That was a final fight, and that was fine.
Don't try gaslight us, because I know what you're doing.
I was okay with that. I was in the same boat.
We understand what that Triple G fight was, and I was happy for Triple G, because guess what? You deserve that big payday.
And then Canelo deserves a very big homecoming against somebody.
Yes, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying. John Ryder was.
Abbas Hearn, another question I have for you. His previous fight was Edgar Berlanga, I believe. What level?
No. Don't skip to Edgar Berlanga, because we need to slowly cook this. We're slowly cooking this.
I'm talking about Benavidez and Morrell. I don't even talk about Canelo.
Who was after John Ryder?
It was Charlo.
Yes.
The 50-50 fight that you told me.
I never ever said it was 50-50.
The fight that I told every single person, this does not need to happen because Jermell Charlo will be schooled. And I was told, no. If we're gonna do this, I'm gonna be as free and opinionated as you.
No. I'm asking why didn't you face Benavidez then?
Let me explain about Let me land about Jermell Charlo. That was a fight when that was announced. I actually thought, I was like, okay, that's Jermell Charlo, whatever, 161. When I felt it was Jermell Charlo, I just looked like I don't understand the fight. I never understood the fight because I knew what we were going to get. It's the same thing we're going to get Terence Crawford. Maybe Terence Crawford has more to it because it's Crawford, but again, the same result will happen when that fight happens.
3 fights in a row after facing Bivol, this guy faced non-challenging guys?
I'm not saying necessarily that.
Yes,
I'm just saying certain fights. Certain fights had certain routes that are okay to celebrate a person's career.
Wait. What was the reason for the gym? Listen,
I don't know what the reason was for Jermell Charlo.
I'll say this: Triple G fight. I'll give him because he came off the loss to Bivol. You need something to get your mojo back, and it's against a former rival who needs a payday. Fine, I can excuse that. Then you faced
Ryder.
What's the Brit? Right. Then you faced Ryder in a homecoming. Fair enough. I will not fault you for that. Facing Jermell Charlo, there is no reason why that couldn't have been Benavidez. That fight.
This is the only thing.
No. That fight was when there's actually zero excuse. You've had your comeback fight against Triple G, or past it Triple G. You then had your homecoming against Ryder, who wasn't, kudos to Ryder for putting up a tough fight. It wasn't a top competition. So that's 2 fights in a row you haven't gone against a top competition. This third one,
let me be honest with you.
Could have been Benavidez, and you chose Jermell Charlo.
Do you want me to be very honest? Canelo does not need to fight any top competition at this present moment in his career.
I'm just happy you finally said it.
No, but I've said that. I've said that before.
No, because you've made it sound like Benavidez is the problem. Don't do that.
My point is no. It's not a Benavidez problem, but it's not a reason. Benavidez is not essential to Canelo Alvarez.
No,
Canelo's not.
Not say that. You did not say that.
But that's always been my stance.
No.
I don't care about David Benavidez. These David Benavidez fanboys. No. Benavidez fanboys have tried to make it seem like if Canelo Alvarez does not fight David Benavidez, he's a duck. He's a coward. His career holds little to no value.
Abbas, do not do this. Answer our direct questions.
What?
Why?
Are you ready for this? He doesn't need to.
No, answer the question.
He doesn't need to.
Why
it's
did
simple
you
as
make
that.
No. You're not getting away with this. What? Why did you make it seem like it was Benavidez's fault for this fight not happening?
Because you held the title twice. You didn't make him wait for one of the times. The second time you had cocaine in your system.
And wait. Let's not do that because he paid for his sins.
Well,
Canelo is not. Wait. Canelo
some sins for those that are Super 3 fighters and on a weight.
Was Benavidez stripped of his title? Yes or no?
Yep.
Did he not then get a suspension for doing the coke?
Yep.
So who is Canelo to then say, I am the one to
Canelo's the guy that could be talking about not failing drugs tests?
No, not even that.
Meat is different. Pause.
I'm not even going to go into that because the horse meat scandal is one of something that needs to be addressed by itself. Canelo.
I don't have time for that research.
Canelo is not commissioned to be going on like Benavidez don't deserve this because he popped for this and a third. Benavidez, like a man, took his punishments and he worked throughout the rankings. He then went on to face the only viable contenders in that division being
Andrade
and then Andrade. And then he was told, you still don't deserve it. You still haven't worked hard enough just to see Jermell Charlo, who's never fought that weight class, just to see Munguia, who never fought at that weight class, who did Munguia?
I have a question
one fight at that weight class against a gimme fight. To then face Berlanga, and then you kept on saying Benavidez is going to get his chance.
If you're Benavidez, and I still believe that. No.
Ray,
but
can I add your Berlanga point?
Go on.
Would you say that
I don't care about Edgar Berlanga? I never cared about Edgar Berlanga. When he was at Top Rank, found it overrated with the KOs.
Just let me finish. Would you say that this resume of previous 4 fights should make you eligible for the Canelo lottery? Steve Rolls, Roma Alexis Anguilo, Jason Quigley, Poddy McCrory, then went on to fight Canelo.
Do you know what it is? Right, so let me break down.
He was the NABO super middleweight champion.
And this is the same shameless guy. Abbas, I hope we clip this because this is live. You even tried to shamelessly go, Berlanga was undefeated earlier on, and now you're trying to throw him under the bus.
Technically,
this is recorded.
No.
You are. I'm going to call you John Fury soon because this is crazy. No. This is absolutely recorded.
Technically, I am correct in the sense that Edgar Berlanga was undefeated. I believe Jaime Munguia was undefeated as well. If I'm not wrong, I might be
41-1 or 41-0 or something crazy like that.
Jaime Munguia.
So is David Benavidez.
No. My point being is just let me land. That if they get the fight, do I think there's probably a little bit more value in the Jaime Munguia fight, but that was more because Oscar was there. So
I want you to have shame because you have been in turbulence this whole time. You've been asking. I haven't. You never landed your plane. You stayed in turbulence.
Allow me to land. The moment Canelo Alvarez became undisputed at 168, I just said I am enjoying the career. Right? Just wait. Whether he fought anybody that we cared about or not, I was always just going to appreciate the fact that Canelo Alvarez was in the ring twice a year, which is a lot more that can be said for other fighters. Now, terms of
name those fighters that you're trying to take shots at. Name those fighters you're
trying to take. No, I'm just saying, just in general. There are fighters that just get into the ring once a year.
Name your
I'm just saying in general.
Put a name on that.
Terence Crawford. That's beside the point.
Wait, no, good. I'm glad you said that. The same Terence Crawford that beat Errol Spence.
Yes, and Errol Spence hasn't been in the ring.
Wait. And PBC held him in a contract because they said Errol Spence is going to get the rematch, and he then had to wait
for
out.
A year.
Yeah, and then he had to wait out for Errol Spence, who then realized he wasn't ready. So please, there's context to saying he's only fought once a year. There is very much context.
But my point. Do you know what? This is what I was going to say. My point actually wasn't specifically for one fighter. Or
where is Sherry?
I'm just saying in general. But
I'm going to go to my phone. I'm going to get the language, again because I remember he gave us insults in your language.
I do appreciate a fight at 175, and all I'm getting is the fact that I just have a lot of an appreciation for Canelo Alvarez. For me, the greatest fighter I've seen live. I think Semi overtook Floyd Mayweather because of certain other reasons, but that's beside the point. My whole thing was at 168. Once he did what he did, I just sat back and I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy whatever's left of Canelo Alvarez.
Okay, so you're just purely on the background.
My whole thing is whoever Abbas, he fights. Abbas, I'm gonna be up at 4 in the morning watching it.
Abbas.
No. This whole obsession with David Benavidez, and he has to fight David Benavidez because he's ducking Benavidez. He does genuinely not have to fight anybody because he's accomplished.
Said that. Two things can be true at the same time.
Why are you telling me he's ducking somebody?
At the same time. Two things can be true at the same time. Yes, you've accomplished A, B, and C.
But what are you ducking?
However, if you're going to hold all those belts, do not stop other fighters that's worked hard to get their title shots. We're going to
talk about that anyway.
We're only speaking on David Benavidez. Morrell's another one who had to hold an interim title for so long because Canelo wouldn't face him. And even myself, I would even say Morrell is a high risk, low reward for Canelo.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Why don't you just relinquish that WBA belt then?
Okay, in terms of relinquishing belt, that's Canelo. Like, you got to realize, I can't speak for Canelo Alvarez. So I don't know what his train thought is. Maybe it's just keeping the belts adds a bit more value to when he fights, let's say, someone like a Jaime Munguia.
You just need one.
No, but that's my point.
Look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather will collect one WBC belt and just relinquish.
Yeah, but the only thing I will say with Floyd is Floyd was in an era where, Canelo's similar in the sense of when you put his name to anything, it's big. But the moment you attach WBA, WBC,
we don't care about no WBA, WBO. We care about WBC and ring. That's all we care about.
Optics on a press conference with 3 or 4 belts lined up versus 2 looks better.
The public only care about the green strap. That is the truth.
I know they do. I care about that. But my whole thing is, again, there's this concept of ducking. I don't believe Canelo Alvarez is ducking anybody. He's just pitting his own career, which is fine.
Say what you said. I'm holding you to your own words.
Go.
You were just saying he's too accomplished to have to worry about those bigger fights now.
Yes.
Yes or no? So if you then don't take the highest challenger because you feel like it's not as rewarding as other fights,
right,
that is a duck.
Not necessarily.
It's a duck.
You don't need to fight anybody to prove anything.
Yes, and if you don't want to do that and you still have belts, you are literally ducking someone. This is the thing. That is okay. Just don't hold up the division. And don't then go on to blame
technically they're fighting at 175 right now, which
and why is he fighting there?
Because they're growing men who want to see
what is the real reason? this is nasty. Let's talk about the fight because this is.
Can I say, I will admit my bias. I want David Morrell to win, because I prefer Cuban fighters just generally across all weight divisions, whether that's amateur or pro. I've always liked Cuban fighters, so I'm not saying I actually think he's going to, but if I had a pick, that would be it. But I do think Benavidez is just like size and power and almost kind of how gangly he is will cause real problems. But if Morrell can get into a rhythm and start using his jab to dictate the pace and create distance and make Benavidez think about coming in and throwing flurries, then I think that Morrell could get the victory. But I also think Benavidez is probably the bigger name. So if it is close, I think he probably gets the decision. Whether he, if it's nip and tuck, I think it goes that way, which is a real shame. But fantastic fight. Looking forward to post-fight when they call out Canelo, and obviously the internet doesn't work in Mexico and stuff like that because the phone lines will be down, so he won't be able to respond. He won't know what's going on. He'll have to.
Have you seen how easy it is to admit your bias? You see that? Abbas? He just said, "You know what? I am biased. This is the guy who I want to win," and that's it. That's all.
No, that's fine. And I'm listen. There's nobody here that sits here and is not openly biased more than
no.
I am so biased.
You try to act like you're objective.
Yeah,
sorry,
I'm objectively biased.
No, you're not. You're shamefully biased, and you won't even admit that you're shamefully. I would have more respect.
I don't know what you want me to say. I can't.
That's full shame.
I cannot control Canelo Alvarez's decisions in terms of.
We're not talking about that. This is what you're.
But I will. No, my whole thing.
Words. We're not saying you have to control Canelo, but what?
But then, what do you want me to do? I've already told you I don't care about Benavidez fight.
Just admit.
I care about any fight he does. Just I'm just enjoying the roller coaster.
This is what we want you to do. Admit that for Canelo, this is a fight that is high risk, not as high reward as he would like. And he is avoiding Benavidez because it is better for him.
Can I be honest? I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna say high risk because I'm thinking that's putting too much disrespect. I mean, too much respect on Benavidez's name. I'm gonna call it a medium risk fight. I'm gonna call it a medium risk fight.
So if Benavidez is medium risk, what is Berlanga?
Low risk.
So that means by default, then Benavidez, even if you don't think he's highly skilled, he has to be high risk because everyone else is lower.
He's a medium risk fighter because there's no fighter for me that is a high risk fight for Canelo Alvarez.
Let me get this straight.
I put him on a level way above anybody at 160.
Answer this. Do you think Canelo would make more money fighting Berlanga or Benavidez?
Benavidez.
But
does he need to? No.
Let's talk about the fight. You contradict yourself.
No. Just 1 second. If you're gonna give me a question, I'm gonna answer it properly. Will he make more money fighting Benavidez? Yes, because it's probably more appealing to a casual audience and stuff. But is it enough money for him to think?
Let's talk about the fight. You've been ridiculous.
No.
I feel like I'm talking to Katie Price's surgeon because this work is nasty. It is nasty.
Give me a minute to land before we talk about Benavidez.
You've been in turbulence. I've been wanting you to land this plane.
All you've done.
The airport
You're still hovering above.
The airport has been waiting for you to land.
All you've done is give your point of view, then not allow me to completely finish my point of view, and then jump in. So if you're going to let me finish my point of view, here it is. The Benavidez fight brings a medium risk to Canelo Alvarez potentially losing. There is 0 high-risk fights for Canelo Alvarez at 160. 0 high. Yes, don't look at me like there's 0 high-risk fights. I do not believe if Canelo Alvarez was to fight anybody at 160, I'm like, oh, that guy's genuinely the favorite over Canelo Alvarez. No. Benavidez. Well, no, but that's my point. As a high risk fight, I'm like, okay, this is a fighter that's super high risk. No, I think Benavidez is a medium risk fighter just because of what he brings in terms of the power, the usefulness and stuff. Now, in terms of fighting who he fights, why can he make more money fighting Benavidez? Yes. is it going to be substantially more for what Canelo Alvarez as a fighter is? Probably not enough for him to think it's going to affect me where I could lose more money later on down the line.
Wait, stop. Let me get this straight.
So I understand why he would want to take...
A medium risk fighter who you're admitting you would get more money for, but somehow you would take the low risk fighter for lower money, and that's more worth it.
Yeah, because, and I'll tell you why. The amount of fights that Canelo Alvarez has had, 60 plus fights.
The ref is waving off the belt. Abbas.
No.
Abbas.
See, this is what he does. He doesn't allow me to finish.
You know when the fighters are like, ref,
no,
carry on.
Yeah, but I'm still alive. I'm still alive because you're not letting me finish.
You know when the ref
you're not allowing me to finish my point. You're not allowing me to finish my point.
It's done.
If we're going to do this, I've got to be able to say my point. If at 60 plus fights in your career, you've accomplished everything you need to, you can still continue to take low-risk fights and make enough money to continue on instead of taking a medium-risk fight and potentially struggling not to be able to honor 2 fights a year going forward. Potentially. I am not saying he's going to struggle. I understand those that are not Canelo fans may think that like that piece of shit that always is outside that airport and is a big hater of him, he will think he'll struggle. But that's my whole point. If I was Canelo Alvarez, I'm taking the low-risk fights to make a decent chunk of money and continue to prolong my career because I've accomplished what I needed to in terms of the title side of things. Do I win a world title at 175? I think when he beat Kovalev, was that for an official world title? I can't fully remember. Was it or not? Or was it a regular title? Whatever. But my point being is, if I'm in Canelo Alvarez's body right now, I understand why I'm taking these low-risk fights, continue to maximize as much money as I can make, and then potentially, as I have always said on this channel, if David Benavidez, I thought it was going to be this year personally. Now, with what they're saying with Crawford and Canelo, the timeline probably doesn't match up to that May, September type of thing that he's going to do normally just because of when they do the Riyadh season cards. Unless it's in America, then yeah, you could probably fight in May and do Crawford in September. I still believe you get David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. It may now be next year rather than this year. I still believe that fight happens. But it's just this concept of Canelo Alvarez every year. He's ducking. No, just appreciate the fact that we still have Canelo Alvarez fighting 2 times a year, honoring certain special days for the Mexican community and for us as fans. I don't understand why it's so hard. Why do we have to push one specific fight? The
fight has been over and the ref's been telling you for 5 minutes.
No, you can't make that decision.
You know, so they can put it in someone's eye, the doctor. Just to see,
you can't make that decision. I don't understand this obsession.
The doctor's been asking Abbas, do you know where we are for the last 5 minutes? And Abbas keeps on giving wrong locations. The plane has not landed.
For no reason. Can we move on? Because honestly,
no, we can do.
I feel like I need a shower after what I've just had to hear.
No, I'm just
a little bit dirty. I feel
filthy.
Listen, I will defend my fighters to the end. But
Reynoso just
no, Reynoso is not even shameless, and Reynoso will probably just say no comment. This is more.
I wish I could say that, but then you just turn around and say he's looking, and he's silent. But the fight itself, in terms of both guys, what does it bring for them? I know we've just talked a lot about Canelo, but the idea is the winner will potentially be in line to fight Benavidez or Bivol. Do you see that happening? And if so, who potentially could have the advantage over one of the guys at 175 that holds the belts?
I think that Benavidez will retire after the Bivol fight, unless there's a third one. But I don't. I'm not saying I want that. I'm just saying I don't think he fights another fighter. But if it's Bivol, or if Bivol loses, he'll have to work his way back up, and I think the belts will get spread. So I think again, all the Brits won't be up for fighting David Morrell if he wins. So I don't think Anthony Yarde's going to be there just going, oh yeah, that sounds like a great fight. I'm trying to go to Havana and fight. So I think the winner will become the best in the division potentially, and I don't think either fights Canelo.
What belt is what organization is Buatsi mandatory for?
I think it's 2. I think it was the IBF and WBA. But
because I know, if I'm correct, Morrell is the WBA
and
so
Benavidez
basically,
WBC.
If Waxy smart, go for the IBF route, basically.
Yeah.
Were you guys? This is gonna sound. Were you impressed with either guys at 175? Because
no,
I wasn't. I looked at I haven't seen. I'll be honest. I didn't watch Morrell when he made the jump to 175. But when I watched Benavidez, the thing that made him so explosive at 168, it didn't seem like that was there. That power and stuff that everyone appreciates about David Benavidez. So is it just one of them things that we fight this fight where we can do, but maybe they may not translate properly over to 175? Is it too early to say?
I think there's 2 different things. Benavidez faced a very solid opponent going up, and I think he doesn't get enough credit for that. When people are just like, oh, he doesn't look as strong as 168, that's fair criticism, but he also faced a very formidable guy at 175. Morrell is my guy. He's the one for me. He looked very out of shape and flabby at 175. And I don't know if it's one of those weight classes where it's either he just had a bad training camp and he underestimated the opponent, or it's one of those weird situations where you're too small for one division, but you're too big for the other. So I don't know whether it's like for 168 he struggles, but 175 you're just
much.
Another, yeah. And it's not, what's that? It's 7 pounds in reality, or figuratively speaking, shall I say. But in reality, it's like
it's about 20.
People are cutting down way more weight to get down to 175. So, and I don't know if he's at an age where he can really put on that much more muscle to catch up with the guys at 175. And he hasn't got, and time's not in his hands, because, not to rehash it, there's a certain guy that wouldn't give him a title shot. So now he has to rebuild at 175. So it's going to be interesting to see. Both of these guys have to open an avenue for themselves, because they know at 175 the champion won't induct them there. But now is a thing of, I was hoping Benavidez was going to retire after this victory.
Yeah.
I'm sure Turkey basically has said, there's a massive bag for you still. And Benavidez probably just like, listen, man, I'm near the end. This is where you actually have to. This is why I'm not too mad at the way Canelo is moving. I just don't like to blame on Benavidez. This is the part of your career where you're meant to be collecting the big bags, because, you know, Father Time's knocking on your door. The only thing with Benavidez is that, unfortunately, he has to face killers, and he can't escape facing killers for the bag. So it'll be unfortunate if he potentially goes out on a loss. Or like Ashanti said, he might just do a trilogy if he loses to Bivol. But it's a weird conundrum, because I'm sure some of the other light heavyweights are probably waiting for that title shot. But at the same time, if Benavidez has those belts, they might be like, let Bivol face him again.
I'm not sure if we'll talk about it later, but why do you think that Lyndon Arthur and Anthony are fighting for the 3rd time? Because Anthony and the team have definitely gone big name, British name, and gives me a good excuse not to fight for another 6. You know, there's no
6-month period. Yeah,
it's not a rebuilding fight where he's going to knock him straight over. He can build it up, and then he can, the hand might need a month or 2, a little bit of training, and by then you're like, Benavidez said what he's going to be doing in the future. And then you can kind of spring back into action in September and be like, you know, I'm ready to go for anyone. I want all that smoke. Like
No. To be fair to Yard, he's already faced.
Yeah, of course. No.
He's already faced BF, so
he deserves to be a champion, and he deserves to have a world title against someone that isn't Kovalev, who was just destroying people. And I don't know if Nathan Kevley's still awake from what he did to him. Or Benavidez, who's, you know, a pound for pound, at least top 10, top 15 guy. He deserves to fight another just really good fighter, a Buatsi. And that's not a shot at Buatsi, but he hasn't proven to be.
I didn't know. At this point, I think Buatsi is waiting for that title shot.
Yeah, no, they both.
I think the push is there. I think the push is there now to be like, okay, there's the availability there to get a title shot with Buatsi. So I hear it. I want to talk about PBC just quickly. I always say I like PBC. I do, because I don't want to sound like that guy, but I do like that American aura about boxing.
I'm an old school Al Heyman guy.
I am purely in that Al Heyman. I used to love, was it Sam Jones? I liked them all. They're all hilarious. I liked his sons. Like, no one knew what they didn't know their names. They were just there and ringing. It was great. They looked like they were living life.
But if you look at and talk about Shay, he's actually done a really good interview on his YouTube channel as well, TKO Boxing.
Check it out.
And they were talking about PBC there. And the person who's interviewed talked about 2023 with what PBC had to what 2024 was. And it's night and day. 2023, you had Benavidez versus Plant. Andrade was on there as well. And you had the big fight at welterweight. Look at 2024. I genuinely could not tell you outside of Canelo, maybe Tank fighting, what happened with PBC. I don't know if there was any good fights or anything that happened. And you look at 2025, credit to them, there's 2 fight cards coming back to back on a monthly basis. But is this going to kickstart PBC for 2025? Or do you think we're going to go backwards even further, where it's going to be possibly 2 cards, maybe 1 more outside of Canelo? Canelo doesn't get that pull because I feel like he honors them 2 dates, and we don't know if he's going to still fight or is it going to be under the Riyadh season banner. But if you strip away Canelo's 2 confirmed dates, who else do you see fighting outside of the February card and then what we got with Tank in March?
Let's be honest. Most boxing shows operate at a loss. PBC especially, and it's a catch-22. Because one thing I've liked about Al Heyman is that a lot of his favorite fighters, let me not say all of them, because I'm sure there's fighters that's got disgruntled with him, but Al Heyman's favorites, they will always swear by him by like, yo, Al got me paid. Al made sure that I'm financially right. So that's what I've always liked about Al Heyman, is that when it comes to, there's a lot of promoters out there where their stars have been disgruntled with them. With Al Heyman, the old generation, shall I say, like the Danny Garcias, Errol Spence,
they're still on their roster. It's crazy.
I'm saying that batch of fighters have always sworn by Al Heyman made sure that I'm financially right. I remember even that Errol Spence talks about how when he first became pro and he was trying to figure out suitors for promotions, and then he was saying Al Heyman didn't give him the best of money at the beginning, but it's because Al said, I'm going to set you up financially for after boxing, so I can't give you the big money now. Unfortunately, when I won't even say boxing was going through his boom, when Mayweather was going through his boom and there was a bit more money to help with operations, you could tell he started giving his fighters a bit more money because he's like, yo, you are my guys, I'm going to treat you well. That model cannot pay dividends for long term, and they are facing the consequence of that now. Hence why when people are just like, why are their shows always on pay-per-view, or why are their shows few and far between, it's not profitable. And to their detriment, what I will say is, this is the bad side of PBC. They shielded their fighters a lot, and they done wrong by the fans by making uneven matchups to the point where now people just didn't want to pay for their shows. And now you've got, fighters that you've got high purses with, and, they're making every other fight a pay-per-view, which shouldn't be a pay-per-view, but because obviously you got contracts to, what's the word I'm looking for?
Adhere to, yeah.
Adhere to, you're stuck. So I think PBC now, outside the Tank, they're gonna go soon. And if I'm Al Heyman, I'm gonna sell to Turkey as well. Hey, have it, cash out, because even Tank Davis, their main attraction, Tank Davis, people are now getting bored of the whole, like, before people liked the whole gimmick fights that he was doing, the spectacles he was doing. Let me not say gimmick. The spectacles that Tank was putting on, people liked it before. But now people started to be like, why do you keep on fighting champions in the lower weight class? Or why aren't you fighting Shakur now? Now, I get it, business-wise, Shakur does need to position himself better, but Tank is running out of people to fight. So if you are Heyman, cash out on PBC now, because there's many times that the wheels on that bus should have stopped. And kudos for them to kudos for them to surviving up until 2025. But in the infamous words of Adrian Broner, take the L out of lover, it's over, brother.
Do you know what? Adrian Broner is still on record as one of their fighters on roster. Just going to put that out there. If you go to the roster, AB's still there. There is one thing I want to say, and you talked about the pay-per-view models. I just feel like that's just the way. I know it sounds weird to say. The American sporting model just feels like everything's centered around pay-per-view, and that's kind of what PBC did. I know Teofimo Lopez, to be credit to him, has come out and said, I don't want to be on pay-per-view, don't put me on pay-per-view, etc. when it comes to Top Rank. But there is one thing I wanted to ask you, Ashanti, and to be fair to Ray, he alluded to it, when Crawford came over, they did him dirty in terms of the way they stitched him in the contract. Tank fighting Shakur, let's put that out there. Shakur's going to come over to PBC, but is that also a bit of an issue where, okay, PBC may hold fighter A, but fighter B needs to come over from another promotion potentially, but they know they may be stuck, get the wrong end of the deal. Like they may not necessarily get that. So for them as well, financially, doesn't make as much sense. They don't want to do it. They're going to be put behind a paywall. It kind of can potentially stagger fighter B coming over as well.
Yeah, I wanted to add to what Ray said, that internal fights within PBC was great when they had an unbelievable roster, and you know we were getting big matchups. Of course, the easiest one to talk about was Crawford Spence, but there were many more, because I feel like most of the champions in the welterweight division in the 2010s were PBC fighters. They just always seemed to have Thurman, Garcia. I think even Amir Khan was with PBC for a while.
And so just add to that quickly. Kudos to Errol Spence, because remember, Spence Crawford was not going to happen. Even though Crawford did cross the street, Spence Crawford was not going to happen, and it took Spence speaking to PBC and telling them, "Cut the crap. I'll take, give Crawford some of the money. We're making this fight." So, but yeah, go on.
Do you know why? Just quickly on that, I don't know if there's the clip on the scales. It's like Crawford goes, "We're making history." He goes, "And we're making money." Like Spence knew that if I don't fight Crawford, I'm not gonna make. Even if I take a lower cut, I'm gonna still make significantly more than fighting somebody else. So Spence knew that side as well, that I can make a cut but make the money.
If only a certain fighter did that, but sorry, go on.
I was going to say that I think market forces and 3 factors have affected PBC massively. I don't know if we're allowed to say it, but I heard rumors that Al Heyman was ill, and that was part of the reason. Yeah. Heavy rumors, and it kind of would make sense that he almost took last year off to deal with whatever, and maybe he's a little bit better, or the people around him are able to take more of the reins, and that's why I know they haven't got an extensive schedule, but I had look. They've got, I think, Tim Tszyu is going to be fighting in Australia, and I think that's associated with PBC. It's Brock Jarvis, the guy that lost to another Aussie.
Oh, yeah, he's facing Kiefer. That can't be a pay-per-view, is it?
No, that's what's good. It's pay-per-view in Australia, because apparently, similar to America, everything is pay-per-view in Australia. But it is likely to be on Prime Video or maybe even PBC YouTube.
Can I just put something out there? If you're telling me Keith Thurman is fighting, until it actually becomes official on PBC's roster, on their website, the same way I can right now, if I go on PBC's website and I go on events, I get Benavidez Morrell and I get Tank Davis. I get nothing else.
Oh, is it not on there yet? I saw a press conference or a virtual press conference.
There's 2 of them on there, and that's it. Whereas if I go to
Thurman, I'll have to wait. We have to wait.
Yeah, we want to wait until he's in the ring.
Until he's in the ring, because the guy is fragile and brittle. And side note, it is still funny to me how Errol Spence said, "Because you wasted my time when you was a champion, I will never give you a title shot." And Errol Spence kept to his word. He said, "You will not."
But do you know what I would love? I'm going to put this out there.
Way some guys are treating Teofimo now, where they're like, because of the nasty stuff that you said, you are not making bank off of me. And I even liked when Terence Crawford goes, "If I fight you, it is not going to be in the ring. Like, the whooping you will get from me is going to be outside the ring, and it won't be in it." And most times in life, I'm like, listen, I don't like that. But certain times in life, some people deserve that, and those two are in that bracket of, yeah, you being a dickhead, so here's your prize. Part of my language.
Yeah. Silly prizes, silly games, all of that.
Indeed.
I also think Turkey's just absolutely ruined him, because I don't want to bring race into it too much, but it did feel like every Black American fighter that was half decent always went to Al Heyman. It was just almost like a generational thing. After Floyd, AB, and then Errol Spence, everyone went to him, and now Shakur, I think, knows the real money's with Turkey. So if I have to listen to Eddie Hearn just talking, it's fine, because those bank, those checks are going to clear. So I think that's really affected him, because the stranglehold has gone. There's now another. Whereas there might have been a slight, is it xenophobia between the Americans not wanting to go to Eddie Hearn, thinking this loudmouth Brit and he's cracking jokes, talking Cockney. I take 20% less not to have to be.
They really don't like British humor.
Yeah,
they really don't like the British deadpan, self-deprecating humor. Like,
do you remember when he called Shelley Finkel Shirley Winkle when he was trying to make the Deontay fight? No, he didn't. No, he did. No, he genuinely did. And Shirley Finkel, and you could tell all the fighters around him were just like, pretty sure this man's like 65 and has been in the game for 40. Like, it was just that, as you say, it was like confusion. It was like, why are you doing?
But it's funny though, because it's the most harmless banter.
I think it's hilarious. So British. You see him down a pub just being like, "Oh yeah, I was talking to Shirley Winkle last night," and Brits being like, "Oh yeah, do you love it? Yeah."
And they take.
They took it so seriously, and I think he's learned the error of his ways, in that he's obviously still a bit like that, but he reins it in, especially in America, a lot more, because I think that there were literally fights that could have been made, and he probably went, I'm going to give you an extra $250,000 for a fight in comparison to what I know your other contract is. And some of them, I think, literally went, do
you know what's more funny about that? Is the fact that normally American to American, they are so cool with crossing the line and saying the most offensive stuff. But it's Eddie Hearn's most harmless banter that's made. Like, someone could, a fighter could know about bereavement in your family, and someone's willing to bring that up, and everyone will be like, "Oh, let's make this fight happen, big bucks, big bucks." And a guy called you Shirley Winkle, and you're like, "Oh my goodness, I could never." I'm just like, how did you get so sensitive when some of you lot are here saying the most deplorable things? And it's just funny. But for me, it's good, because the way America monopolized world boxing, it was getting too much. And the whole thing of you have to go through Vegas it's nice. Traditionally, it's nice, but I like the fact that it's world boxing, world champions are fighting across the world now.
Yeah, and Eddie's a big part of that. And I wanted to add, when I was reading about PBC, coming back with their schedule, that unfortunately, because their roster isn't as strong as it was, what they're now moving towards, I feel, is almost a totemic kind of fight schedule, where you get one big name fighter and then they big them up, they hype them up, they get them on press tours, and then they just fight any person. So one of the rumors for March is Sebastian Fondora fighting Chordell Booker in March. I don't even know if I said his name right, Chordell Booker. But it's not disrespectful. Genuinely.
No, I know you're not being.
But yeah, that would be a good fight. And then they're saying that Elijah Garcia might face Terrell Gosha. They're bringing in names, but the schedule. I think they're back up. I think they will. They'll have a good year, but it just pales into comparison, because I personally don't think the Eubank Ben undercard is the strongest, but we're getting Eubank Ben, and there's British fights, and I don't know if there'll be a better PBC card this year than that one, and I don't think that that's going to be a top 5 to 7 Riyadh season, the ring, whatever you want, whatever the guise is. I don't think that will be a
wait. So, do you think going forward the ring is going to be anything basically not to do with Saudi, and Riyadh season is strictly going to be with Saudi? If you know what I'm saying, like he's going to do it, even though we know he owns the entities. Do you think it's now going to be a case of anything that's not Saudi? Do you get what I'm saying? So anything in Saudi will now not be Riyadh season.
Anything outside of Saudi, you mean?
Yes.
I think there's still going to be some crossover. I think if Anthony Joshua fights Tyson Fury, I think it will be Riyadh season because they know the global reach. But the ring will largely have a lot of the foreign fights. So I know there were rumors of AJ Bacoli. That would be a ring fight.
I hope absolutely not. Absolutely not.
The thing is, I was originally under the impression the concept of a Riyadh season was from October to February.
Yeah.
So wherever they fit a fight in there, whether it's in Saudi or not, they'll call it Riyadh season. But then, the rest will say this is a ring magazine fight or
remember,
whatever
this
they
is
want.
his own personal money. So it's very different from the Riyadh season money. Very, very, very different. They're definitely not the same source of income. So we need to make that really, really clear that Turkey has made his own personal wealth that he's spending.
What I will say is with PBC, and it comes through with HBO, it comes with the whole thing with just that transition. There's something about that presentation that I love. Like, for me, okay, Buffer is Buffer, and fine, we can appreciate that. But I'm sorry, Jimmy Lennon Jr., I'm just like, I'm ready. That's it's a different vibe. Like, even when he was doing Inoue's fight, like the fight's a gimme fight for Inoue, but it's because he's there. I'm like, I'm watching the actual genuine entrance in the ring announced. Because I'll be honest, sometimes I'm like, I don't really care about the entrance. All right, someone's fighting, give me 10 minutes, I'll be down to watch Bell 1. But when he does his emceeing and the ring announcing, so I'm like, I'll be there for the full thing because there's a vibe about him, and that's just me because of the American thing. Like I always say, there's that they will always have some little stranglehold no matter how bad it gets with them. Because I'm still going to be up at 4 a.m. and they've got a stranglehold on me.
You know what? You mentioned something and you said you wanted to go, but both of you said you wanted to go through this on the show. So Abbas mentioned about Inoue in Japan and Eddie Hearn, and Ashanti said he had some extra words for Eddie Hearn. So I say let's go into what you wanted to speak about in regards to Inoue and Eddie Hearn's comments, and then Ashanti, you can go into your extra words for Eddie Hearn.
Do you know what it is for me? I think it came from a point of crazy frustration from Eddie Hearn, and the only problem he's got right now is the comments he's made, and I'm going to ask you as well, is he can't back out of them because he's doubled down on them. I understand getting your fighter the fight that he wants, but because of how aggressively he came out, he could have just flipped and said, all right, do you know what, heat of the moment thing, apologize, of course you don't remove him from pound ranking, etc. But he's doubled down on it, tripled down on it to a point where it's that thing where it's looking awkward. And it might be a case of your next fight card, I think his next fight card is Jack Catterall. Or he's got a next gen series thing, but I think Frank Smith does that. So the next fight card would be the Jack Catterall card. Someone's going to still ask him about Inoue at that particular fight card, and he's going to have to double down on exactly what he said. I get it from his point of view because his fight has apparently been mandatory. If you want my full disclosure, I'm not fully into the real lower weight divisions as much. But if his fight has been mandatory and Inoue has taken these gimme fights, I can appreciate his frustration from it. But it's just
ironic.
I knew you were going to go with that because I don't know how you can go around defending it. But it's just the way he said the comments came off awkward because I don't.
I'll show you how you're meant to own when someone's being shameless. Well done on Eddie Hearn being an actual boxing promoter, because this is what your boxing promoter is supposed to do. When people get
with the comments,
oh my gosh, Eddie's a hypocrite. He's not condescending. What's the word I'm looking for? Similar to hypocrite, synonym for hypocrite.
He is.
Either way, Eddie being a hypocrite, whatever, good. He's a boxing promoter. He's supposed to promote for his fighter. So when people are just like, I can't believe he's saying this about Inoue because your fight's this, then a third. He is supposed to be there to promote his fighter. Thank goodness, because there's a lot of promoters that have forgotten their promoters and are beefing with their fighters. Thank goodness there's someone actually going to bat for his fighter and saying, listen, I want my fighter to get his shot at Undisputed. So yes, I'm going to say outlandish things to draw out.
But do you agree with it?
Of course I don't. But this is what I'm saying. He's his promoter. He's supposed to be subjective to his fighter. You think Eddie's going to be
Would you say Inoue's been ducking his mandatory then?
I won't say, to be fair to Inoue, you've got 4 organization belts.
Right.
He's undisputed. So therefore, could you I don't
let
know.
Go of some of the belts and give the fighters that are in positions to win the belts
shots? No, because I know what you're trying to do, but this is where it's different.
Yeah.
This is where it's different. This is where it's different.
Why is it different?
Because he's actually fighting mandatories from other belts.
That's
so right. Yes. So just because let's say Akhmadaliev is for the WBA,
yeah.
But if instead of fighting my WBA mandatory, I'm fighting my WBO mandatory,
right?
You could say that yes, you're avoiding Akhmadaliev, but the competition is still top competition.
Is it really?
If you're fighting, it's not like he's fighting somebody that don't deserve the belt. If I've got 4 belts, and let's say Akhmadaliev is the top one for WBA, but then instead of fighting Akhmadaliev, it's not like he's just taking a bum fight. He's taking a mandatory for another organization.
Kim Ye Jun.
Yeah, have context. Let's not a Wikipedia page. No, stop. Let's not do this Gen Z thing. Why was he there?
Yeah, this is naughty work. No.
Explain why Kim had to.
I understand. There was a pull-out.
Exactly. Even your camera just went fuzzy because even your camera couldn't recognize that dirty work.
No. I get it, but I'm just saying. I feel like
you can't even think of a lie in time.
No. I've got nothing against Inoue. Like for me, from your point of view, I actually do get it. Like I never thought of it like, oh, Eddie's pushing it. I just think that the comment itself, being like you said, was so outlandish that it's going to be the central focus point for Eddie. I don't think Eddie wants him to be out of the pound for pound rankings. Realistically, I think he was probably questioned about it, and it just came to him. And the fact that he said it, and people are like, whoa, he said something like that. He's then doubled down on it, and it's become now a thing.
Good.
Can I add the counterbalance? Because I am in my feelings about it. It's the thing I most like and dislike about Eddie Hearn is he has absolutely no shame, like zero shame, and he doesn't care. He will say it with John Ryder and Canelo. He'll be like, that one shot, he could knock him out, and then after the fight, he's like, knew it was a pretty tough time, but wanted to make sure that John.
He did that with Belanga. I won't lie. He sold the Belanga fight that way.
I mean, he didn't really sell the Belanga fight
and go crazier things have happened, and everyone. Eddie's probably bet on Canelo to win, and is still just telling you that But I do have to add some balance because whilst I believe in promoting, you do in some way have to have some honesty, and in this situation, Eddie Hearn is a chief, so. I'm not trying to make a clear comparison, but these are the 6 fighters that Inoue has fought before. Is it King Yi Jun? And as I said, context, late replacement, blah blah blah. Fighter from similar part of the world, maybe a bit of name recognition. Also, if anyone has time and watch the fight, listen to that guy's story. Absolutely insane. I think he was like basically left outside a care home when he was a child and doesn't know his parents, has never met them, and somehow found his way to Australia. So I was super happy that he's made, I don't know what he's made, say it's 200 grand. Sounds like it's a load of money. Like he's come from like properly nothing. So when I heard that, I was like, cool, like just glad that this man's like probably able to secure himself for a while.
Get a nice little payday, no harm.
That's a side note. And I think he said on his vision board, he said he thought one day he'd fight Inoue. So if someone offers you that opportunity and money, you have to take it because he hasn't lost, because no one beats Inoue. So you're just like the other 27 that have been spangled by him. It doesn't matter. But these are the people that he's fought previously. Nonita Donaire, think we've all heard of him. Decent fighter, multi-time world champion. Paul Butler, I think 2-time IBF world champion, if I'm not mistaken. Stephen Fulton, very good fighter. Marlon Tapales, Lewis Neri, TJ Dunahee. Whatever you think about these fighters, they are all world champions. Some of them multi-weight, some of them more than once. So I'm not saying that there's a direct comparison, but this is the person that I would like to compare him to, who is one of Eddie Hearn's fighters. Sorry?
Are you going with Anthony Joshua?
No. Someone less known.
That Fury, listen. I know.
No. I won't say anything bad. Because we need to wrap up soon, but I just wanted to ask.
But this is the last 5 fights for someone who is promoted by Edward Hearn, who has told me he's almost pound for pound talent and is the best fighter in his division. Jordan Thompson. Ellis Sorrow.
Whoa. Jay Opataya slander.
No.
Will not.
That's about Opataya. This is about Eddie Hearn and his promoting. Okay. Myris Bradis, Jack Massey, David Naika. Again, context. I think he was a late replacement. Tasman fight, whatever you want to, Oceania. I'm cool with that. But they're his last 5 fights. And the next time that he fights, Eddie Hearn will tell you this man is on. Oh, well, he wants him to fight Usyk. So one guy should be off the pound for pound list because he's not fighting. Oh, very much should have added before I was interrupted. Tapales beat MJ Akmadaliev. So he's ducking that smoke. But one of the guys he beat in this streak has already beaten the guy he's ducking. But Jai Opataya has fought Jack Massey, Jordan Thompson, and Ellis Sorrow in 3 of his last 5 fights. And every time I'm meant to hear Jordan Thompson came out to Meek Mill, dreams and nightmares. He's come from nothing in Manchester. Well, Jack Massey.
To be fair to Jai, similar to Jerome Boots any situation, everyone else is avoiding him in his division.
And he's so far, he's levels above all of them. But I just want to talk about the promoter speaker. Usyk. Usyk might have cleared up at cruiserweight, but who knows with the weight cut?
Promoter's gonna promote, man.
Exactly. But I just had to add that point because I thought he went too far. And Ray will probably say you can't go too far as a promoter as long as you're not talking about someone's dead relative. There's nothing too far because it's just the game is the game. But have some shame. Like Inoue is Inoue, and he's fighting in Japan and just knocking everyone out.
Not now. He's doing a world tour, isn't he? He's doing Vegas.
Oh yeah, he's going to Vegas,
Saudi.
Yeah,
Inoue.
Yeah, he's fighting Picasso, not Pablo, however.
He's not going to fight in Japan, I don't think, this year. I think if they do what they'll probably do, it'll probably be May in Vegas, and then I expect him to be in that December Riyadh season card.
No, he's come out and said the 3 fights he wants. I think it's Riyadh season September. I think he
wants September. Okay, then Japan in December.
MJ was one of the fights, and then there's Picasso is April or May, and then there'd be September.
I'm not too familiar with this Picasso fellow, but
I've never heard of Pablo's relative, but it is what it is. It will be a showcase fight. I'm not there with Inoue, but I'm okay with him.
Are we allowed to have showcase fights nowadays? When
you're going to a new market, you are, and you're not holding up. No, you are.
Right, okay. Yeah, that's how it works, right? No worries.
It's not free in a row. I mean, it's not 3 showcase fights in a row, Some people actually fight their mandatories, but yeah.
Okay, I'm just so we'll get a glimpse of that.
Yeah, he's not just paying off his mortgages. He's not just fighting John Ryder, like Strider Man. He's not doing that.
Why did Ryder have to catch a shot like that?
It's because I vividly remember an interview of Eddie Hearn truly saying, "One shot could change everything." And
listen, man.
If I'm not wrong, was Canelo not with Matchroom then anyway? Because that was the big entrance thing that I said. It was
wait. Now you're turning on Eddie. That is,
me.
You know what? Yeah.
Flip flop.
This guy.
Wait. I'm not turning on Eddie. Wait, you've got to realize I've always been Granddad Frank. So
I hope I made a relatively lucid point about Eddie Hearn and his promotion. And you wait for the next interview when we have to hear about Jai Alpataya and how he's going to take over Australia, because everyone cares about Australian fighters. Can someone name me 3 that anyone cares about?
Eddie Hearn is doing the smart thing. He basically said the UK market is dry right now. There's no money here. That's what it basically is. There's no money in the UK. So it's basically like, let me do my side quest in America with Boots and my side quest with try see if there's money with Jai Alpataya in Australia. He's signed Kambosos as well. He's got Sky Nicholson. So I think he's trying to see what money is there in Australia for me to get. And I don't even think that's real. Doesn't even Rhea tease the money. That's well, not his personal, but that's Matchroom. I think I like what he's done with Boots and Jai, where it's just like, well, more Boots, where it's just like, this ain't going to be real stuff. This is, sometimes you need your own, like, no, this is strictly Matchroom, and I'm going to bring you to Riyadh when the time's right, but let's build you in America ourselves, so no one can say that, oh, you're only big in America because of...
If Boots smashes it, I wouldn't mind seeing him and Crawford next year. If Crawford still wants to fight, that would be almost a passing of the torch.
Nah, I don't think by the time Boots can get enough steam to become a big enough name,
it'd be 2 years. It'd be 27.
Yeah. Fair. But yeah,
just
I won't be watching that Australia card.
Before we wrap up, I know that English, like you say, I just have to say one thing. Matchroom, Jack Catterall, Sam Jones, that little video they did, that was good. I like that. Like, that brought a humor to me. Boring Jack Catterall, it brought some humor to me. So, you know, they've done something, because obviously he's fighting in a few weeks' time.
Catterall for champion 2025.
And honestly, at this point, if he doesn't become a world champion, I don't know when. He's either interim or, I don't know. He's literally interim Catterall at this point.
Well, to be fair, the championship route that he's taken, Tio has his issues with top rank, and he'll become mandatory after this. If he gets through this win, he's become mandatory. And obviously, the plan is for Tio to face, I'll call it a battle for some relevancy, for a crumb of relevancy between Hitchens and Tio. They're both good internet champions. And do you know what's always funny? Because I know we've got to go in a bit. Why do people keep on sending for Kambosos? You will not listen when it comes to socials. They will not win against Kambosos. You can,
because it's weird. It's like, you know that thing that we used to say about selling a fight and stuff. If you have Kambosos against you, you have to do less of the job, because he's going to do so much of it that you can just go off what he says.
He had one really good night. I thought he lost to, I think he fought Lee Selby a few fights before the TFI, and I thought Lee Selby beat him. He's just the fact he's an undisputed champion, like in the annals of history, is so depressing.
No, it's not. Do you know why? Do you know why
he did it?
I like people. No. Here's my thing. When you get the reason I like Kambosos is, has he overachieved? Absolutely. However, there's times in life where you're not going to get another shot. And the fact that this guy, who you're most famous for being Manny Pacquiao's sparring partner, you had a shot. You worked yourself to a mandatory. You done a workman thing where you was a sparring partner to a world champion. That was what you was known for. You've got yourself into the IBF mandatory, and you was brought in there to be a showcase for Teofimo, and you seized your moment. So yes, and the fact that he seized his moment, and for me,
then cashed in.
To be honest, do you know why I respect him more? For me, he should have cashed in more with it in Australia and taken a gimme fight just to have a win as a unified champion before he faced Devin Haney. The fact that he went straight away and said Devin Haney, and I saw that he kept his word to Devin Haney, because apparently he told Devin Haney, if I get this belt off Tio, we'll make this fight. And kudos to him, because he kept his word and he said, all right, cool. He done a big stadium fight in Australia, then he done a big arena in the rematch. He's overachieved. Like, no one can say nothing to him.
I know, I'll admit this is my problem. I'm just getting too old for some of. He talks so smoky, and then he fights. He does nothing.
Do you know what? It keeps him relevant. It keeps him relevant.
They provoke him. The thing is,
he has to go on Instagram and go, oh, tonight wasn't my night, but you know, in the future, God willing, I'm going to fight. I'm a Greek warrior, and then does absolutely. Why does everyone keep getting something by this?
He's a limited fighter, so anything he's already cemented. For me, he's already cemented. I'm not supposed to be here, and I became a unified champion. And like he says, I then went to my country and done numbers, and all you guys keep on cussing me out, but none of you have done my numbers.
What do you think he's made? I reckon he's made 15-20 million Aussie dollars in his career, because I think for the Devon fight, he got something like 3 or 4 million for that.
He's done a big stadium, yeah. Listen, the fact that you're a multi-millionaire, kudos. Like I said, you're not supposed to be there. Talent-wise.
Devon twice. Didn't fought Loma? Did he fight Loma?
He fought Devon twice. He's fought Loma.
Those three fights alone have made
it. And you didn't even need to go. You didn't even need to make life that difficult for yourself, but you still went for it.
And now,
high risk, high reward, and you got paid, and you overachieved. And it's not even that you overachieved. The moment you was in the spotlight, you maximized it in a way that I've not seen. I've seen very few people. He went on the biggest media tour. I don't know who his PR agent is, or if he has one, but
I feel like he knew that, you know, he wasn't necessarily going to hold on to the belt.
Of course he did.
And he thought, I'm going to make myself a massive name, because he seems like this type of name that in the future can go on Celebrity Hunted if they have that in Australia.
This is the thing. When they did
he's George Kambosos Jr. He, you know.
Well, this was the thing. When they did the Australia show, he was front and center.
Yeah, it's him. And
George Kambosos was there. Sky was there as well. But it was like, oh, George is there. We know his face. That's the thing. Like, it's I'm gonna put. Actually, I'm not gonna say this. I'm just gonna leave that.
Don't get me wrong. He needs a win ASAP. But what I will say is, in regards to the rest of his career,
he's there. He's present.
You've done what you've needed to do. I became unified champ. I wasn't supposed to be here. I've set records in stadiums, arenas, and you've got these people that's meant to be supremely talented, more talented than him, begging him. That's why it's always funny as well, because I know you were saying that, oh, he talks so much on the internet, but it's like they challenge him all the time, and then they just get smacked down, because it's like, yeah, like I said, Hitchens and first tier is the battle for a crumb, because for as big as these guys think they are in their head, you don't sell. So that's why I'm saying you can't talk to George, because one, George was unified, and two, he's got the records to say, I've done this, that, and the third. You lot cannot talk
in his country as well, which means something. Like, to be a big star in a country like Australia, where there are loads of other big sports, not being horrible to Devon. Devon's a no one in America. Like, there are literally hundreds upon hundreds of sports people that are way more famous than Devon Haney. And George Kambosos, I would imagine, is probably like top 20, top 30.
Carpe diem. And he absolutely seized his moment, and I'll always respect someone for seizing their
moment. On that Aussie card, though, Nina Hughes, Shanika Johnson, I'm really looking forward to that rematch. It was obviously very contentious, the first fight, with the announcer announcing the wrong person. So glad it's got the rematch. And and hopefully, I think they're at the same way. I hope Scottney gets to fight whomever in the future, because I thought she was great last weekend.
Guys, wrap it up.
Whoa. You can see what's on my name has to be added before we go. I want to hear no negativity towards Claressa Shields. Good luck this weekend. Absolutely. Whatever, Danielle Perkins might not be the most skillful fighter in the world, but I think she's 6'1", and I think there's so many, because light heavy and heavy aren't real divisions in the women's ones. They almost make belts up for her to win. Literally
every world heavyweight titles is vacant.
Let me tell you something. Claressa is another one who I'll always give credit for, because in terms of self-promotion, she is, at a time in women's boxing that no one cared, she made people care. Love or hate her, she made people care. She made people, and when some people, don't get me wrong, I don't always like some of her antics. Obviously, sometimes she's a bit too crass. However, she's probably also aware of, if I don't speak, you lot are not going to care. And she has made people care in a way that, you know what, I will always have respect for her. I may not always agree, but I'll always have respect for her in the way that she promoted herself without a major promoter. And she's made people know who she is. And I'm sure now, I'm sure now that there are opportunities outside of boxing, because she gambled on herself and made sure that I'm gonna meet a household name by fire by force. So
are we not gonna add the biggest one? Have you not heard what just came out?
What's that?
The last month. She has a film about her life.
Oh yes,
it just came out, and apparently, have you not heard this? And the girl that's playing her is like a
Ryan
very
Destiny.
well-known.
Ryan Destiny. Yeah.
Was she in? I think the show might have been called Star, which was kind of a spin-off of Empire, or
maybe one of them.
But she's like a well-known, and the film apparently did really well on the first. I think came out about 2 weeks ago, and it's all about her life. So she's becoming one of those people that say what you want about her, she'll be able to say
she's done stuff.
Two Olympic gold medals, X number of world titles, undisputed. Got a film about my life. I'm sure she's probably got a day named after in her home state because she's a star in Flint and in that area. She's big, and you don't. And now she's kind of got into the media zeitgeist because she's dating Abbas, and there's all of that stuff with her personal.
That stuff, But I hope Savannah Marshall said she wants to fight heavyweight. I think they should do that and do that in a home city.
Let me make this very clear, Savannah. If you hear this, I really like you. You're a great fighter. You have to go to America. Sometimes people can talk about numbers, who's bigger, who's not. Yeah, Savannah might do well in the UK. You fought in London, in your home country, and you got your backside handed to you. If you want the rematch, go to the winner's backyard. Like it's not always. People always talk about money, but sometimes things are bigger than money. You want the rematch. You want to reclaim. Oh, things didn't go right for me on the night. Fine, think like that. If you want that rematch, it's going to be a big one. Go to Flint, go to wherever Clarissa wants it, and have the rematch, because I don't think it's right just because you think you make more money that you lose quite comprehensively on away soil, and then you think that you should have.
I don't think Savannah's got the steam in the UK as much as.
I don't think she has as much now.
Yeah, so I think going to America right now is actually the better option for her.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll see her at the Royal Albert Hall March 7th. So.
Oh yeah.
Right,
guys. We're gonna wrap up today's episode. We talked. I think we had a good conversation. Ashanti, appreciate you for jumping on as always. Ray, as much as you are a pain, we still appreciate you.
You need
without you, there's no show. Without you, there's no show. But yeah, guys, we're gonna. You know all the vibes. Like, share, subscribe. We're going to have watch-alongs this weekend as well, most likely as well. So get involved with that. Ashanti, thank you for coming on. Ray, love and peace. And until next time, see you later, guys.
It's another band. All the Muslim cars now, whichever get up. I start my card with a sweet one, please. Someone flicks me a bag, so it's another one. It's another one, yeah. It's a full strand, yeah. Oh, it's another one. It's another one, yeah.